May Angeline is asking, is this live also applicable for medical technologists? May, yes, definitely. In fact, we have a show coming up in a few weeks dedicated to medical technologists. So please watch out for that. Mike, do you want to explain to May Angeline or any medical technologist the process that a medtech can come to the United States on from an immigration perspective?
Sure. There's essentially three routes that a medtech could take. Two of them involve an H-1B, one involves a green card. So the two routes to take for an H-1B worker is whether or not they're going to what's referred to as a cap-exempt employer or not. There's only a certain number of H-1s given out per year. They're done through a lottery. The lottery starts in January, February. We do filings in February, and then at the end of March, we find out whether you were chosen in the lottery. And then there's a 90-day window to file, and then you can come in October 1st. There's 85,000 spots. Last year, there were almost 600,000 filings. Now, that doesn't really mean 600,000 people. They actually chose 125,000, or a little more than 125,000 for the 85,000 spots, because they know there's a lot of duplication of people. But the bottom line is your odds of being chosen in the lottery are not that great. But that is certainly one route. And a lot of facilities will put medtechs in the lottery for the purposes of hoping that they are chosen and then file. And then that's the fastest way to get here to the U.S. If, however, your hospital that's going to hire you is what's referred to as a cap-exempt hospital, and those are hospitals that are nonprofits affiliated with universities. So typically a university hospital, and there's not a lot of them, but there are some. There's probably associated with most major universities, there is a nonprofit affiliated hospital. Those types of hospitals are exempt from that H-1B lottery. So if you happen to be hired by one of those hospitals, then instead of waiting till January and February to file your H-1 lottery case and hoping you get lucky in April, you can go ahead and file now, and you could theoretically be here in a few months. And the third route is a green card. And a lot of facilities, particularly for-profit facilities, who don't want the pressure and the stress and the of the H-1 lottery, which is certainly an unsure process, they will simply start doing green card processing like they would with an RN overseas, but for a med tech, even though they have the H-1 option. Unfortunately, RNs are treated special in the green card process, in that they are exempt from what's called a labor test. Med techs have to go through a labor test, and that labor test is required by the Department of Labor before you ever file with immigration, and the hospital has to demonstrate, or the lab, that there is a shortage of U.S. workers at medtech workers in that particular geographical area. So they have to go through a whole series of recruitment. Bottom line is, depending upon the facility, that extra time could be as short as maybe 6-7 months extra from what an RN would go through, to maybe as long as about 16 or 18 months. So it's significantly longer for a med tech to come through the green card process, but it certainly is possible. And over the last several years, as the number of H-1 filings have gone up, I've seen an increase in a lot of my clients looking to go the green card route for med techs. But bottom line, there are ways to get here as a med tech. A lot of it just depends on the hiring facility that you're going to, and also some of your personal choices.
Okay, thank you, Mike. That's very helpful. And we really hope that May Angeline, that clarifies your question. As I said, please keep watching Onwards and Upwards. We have a show coming up that's dedicated to medtechs. We're seeing a very big increase of facilities that are now looking internationally for medical technologists. So we're really excited to be able to present lots of opportunities to medtechs who are interested.